The sound booth, Riley. Riley, can you trim back the gain on this just a hair? I'm getting a lot of feedback. You mind? Well, she's only 3. I don't think she'll get better. My apologies. All right, let me tell you a little bit about the menu. Well, you saw before. There they go. All right. The man you see before you on your left is Isaac Walker. He is currently the executive chef at Pickles Barbecue and Steakhouse down in Watauga. Got his start 23 years ago at Driscoll's in Austin. Who knows Driscoll's in Austin? If you've been to Austin, you know Driscoll's. He started off there washing dishes, just like the guy in the commercial, and worked his way up to be executive chef at Pickles. Who's been to Pickles in Watauga? Anybody? It's only been up and running for about 4 months, but it's going great guns. You got to swing down over to Watauga and check out what they've got going on there. And like a lot of us, Chef Isaac spent 4 years in Chicago one weekend before he came back to Texas. To your right, you will see Chef Peter Mollett. He has one of the most eclectic culinary backgrounds that you'll hear. We go on and on about people went to culinary school. Chef Walker went to El Centro Culinary School. Chef Peter Mollett didn't go to culinary school. He's an organic chemist, and in many ways, that's the best kind of chef. He knows exactly how the chemicals work in the foods and the spices that he blends, and you're going to taste exactly how much he knows. His company is Smokin' Texas Gourmet, making homemade happen. That's what Smokin' Texas Gourmet is about. Would you please welcome Chef Isaac Walker and Chef Peter Mollett? My apologies. Let me say one more thing if I could. I keep calling him Mollett, and it's Mollett. You're of German ancestry.
Yes.
My apologies. Chef Peter Mollett.
So those of you who were here yesterday, do we have anyone who was here yesterday, or is this a whole new group? Well, I like having a chef with me. And the last couple years, we've had Sebastian Layen from Omni Hotel in Fort Worth come and cook with me. He's a Frenchman. He always gives me a lot of crap about being German. And I always give him a lot of crap back. So we've kind of been dubbed the chemist and the Frenchman. I'm changing it up today. Today, we're going to have the chemist and the Mexican. Okay? So, to start out, just want to say we're all nervous, the chefs. So we're going to start out with a drink. We did this yesterday, and this happens to be a Vo2 mixer, which I developed. And by the way, I spilled, which we developed, and it won the People's Choice Award. Second place. We're it won second place for the beverage. The jalapenos won the People's Choice Award for candied jalapenos, which we're going to use. So Chef Isaac, and I'll say this is his first time. Let's give him a hand for the first time being on stage.
Salute.
Cheers. Salute. So you heard Scott say what we're going to do. We're going to do pulled pork sliders with our famous candied jalapenos, winner, and dry rub garlic, salt, and pepper. And then, Chef Isaac, what are you going to do?
We're going to be doing the baby back smoked ribs today and brisket slider today with pickled tobacco onion rings, all using Chef Peter's product, of course.
So, we want to start out first. You heard Scott say, making homemade happen. We're going to make it easy for you. We're going to do a pulled pork in a crock pot, okay? And it's real simple. The first thing that we want to do is we want to season the pork. And it's just like seasoning brisket. Chef Isaac is going to show you how to do that in a minute. All we're going to do is take this pork shoulder. I like it with the bone in. This happens to be bone out. Like that. And then we're going to put a little garlic, salt, and pepper on it. Like that.
Perfect.
Done. We'll wrap it in saran wrap, put it in the fridge overnight, then cook it the next day. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do to make it real simple to do that. Chef, why don't you show them how you do yours?
All right, first of all, I'm gonna come over here and steal some of your salt over here. So the first thing we do with our baby back ribs is you have this, here you have your ribs. Right on the back of the bone here, you have a silver skin. You wanna really take that off or your ribs won't really shrink up like they should. So we're gonna clean that off real quick. It's always easier to do it with a towel because it gets really slimy and slippery. Of course, a clean towel, right? I don't know if you can see that silver skin coming right off. Very, very important to get rid of that. Then what we do is we use this dry rub that Chef Peter makes for our restaurant. Put a little bit on here and kind of just rub it in there a little bit. I don't like to go too heavy on it, depending on the kind of flavor you want, because it can get really, really dark in the smoker. Some people have the thought that maybe it's burnt, but it's really not. It's just a heavy seasoning on there. Then I get the garlic, salt, pepper. Kind of just sprinkle it on there a little bit. You're gonna do the same thing to the backside of it. A little bit of rub. Rub it in there nice and tight, just like this. Make sure you get the sides, make sure you get it all around in there. Same thing with the salt. And there it is, cook it with the bone down. We cook our ribs between 5.5 to 6 hours. Okay, they come out really, really nice and tender. I know a lot of people like to do 9 and 10 hours. I'm not a big fan of extremely soft ribs, if you will. Ours come right off the bone. So 6 hours for us is plenty of time.
So one of the keys to a rub chemically is, first of all, you don't want too much salt. The reason is it's going to draw up all the moisture and it's all going to come to the top, and your brisket and ribs are going to be very, very dry. The second thing is, and that's, by the way, why we put very little garlic, salt, and pepper on there, okay? The second thing is you want low sugar. I don't know how many of you have tasted rubs out here? And what do you taste? Salt and sugar. Mm-hmm. What happens with sugar, sugar caramelizes real quick, and it ends up being bitter. So if you taste a rib or a brisket or a pork that tastes kind of bittery, burnt, it's because of the sugar. So, Chef?
Right. So we're gonna do the rib next, or the brisket, I'm sorry.
Here, want me to get that?
Yeah, please.
These briskets are big.
All right, so
do you want a lot of fat on the brisket, Chef?
I personally like a lot of fat on it because when it's cooking, all that fat just sinks right into your beef. It makes it a lot tenderer. You get a lot more juiciness, a lot more flavor to it. Of course, when you're cooking, this is about an 11, 12-pound brisket here. We're gonna lose about 3 pounds in the smoker. You have 2 pieces of your brisket. You have your bottom piece and you have your cat piece. Cat piece always cooks on top where all your fat is. That way when you're smoking it, all the fat goes right down to the meat. So it's pretty much the same concept with the brisket. As far as the rub, only difference is we do go a little heavier on the brisket, because you want to, on the brisket, you do really want a nice dark bark on it. So we'll go a little heavy on it. Make sure you rub it in there really, really nice and neat. Okay, get all the sides. Now at the restaurant, we cook our ribs, our briskets for 15 hours. And we do a slow cook at about 200 degrees. They come out really nice and tender, really juicy, really smoky. As you can see, I'm getting all the rub in here. It is a messy job. This is the part my daughter loves to do. She likes to get messy in the kitchen with me. Get all the sides in there really nice and neat, really nice and rubbery in there.
When you put that in a smoker, Chef, do you put the fat side up or the fat side down?
Fat side up. Fat side up. If you leave, this is the fat side down right now. If you leave it fat side down, you're gonna lose all that fat. And all that flavor is just gonna go to waste. So I do not recommend doing that. And there it is. One brisket ready to be smoked.
Wow,
and of course, we put our salt on it. And voila. Hickory smoked for 15 hours.
Perfect, looks great. Now, back to the pork. We got beef, we got pork. how am I going to make this really simple for you so that you can go shopping? Well, we're going to use two products in here. We're going to use some sweet onion peach salsa and a can of Coke. I like using Coke Zero or Diet Coke because of the lack of sugar in it. Now, why do we use Coke? Anybody know? The acid in it. It helps tenderize, okay? Plus, the caramel in the Coke makes it, the caramel in the Coke will add some really good flavor to it, okay? All we do is pour it in a crock pot, like so. Can of Coke. Help tenderize. And by the way, the dry rub will help tenderize just as well as the Coke will. And then we'll stir it up. Very, very simple. And we'll put the pork in here. Like that. And you can see the liquid in here. It covers about half of that pork. We put it on high, put the crock pot on high, and for you ladies who want to impress your husbands, you put it on high, let it cook 9 hours on high. Hop in your car, go shopping, spend some of his money, okay? You'll make him happy. You'll get away with spending some money because he's going to really enjoy the pork, okay? So all we do, put it in there, and start cooking it, okay?
All right.
When you smoke your brisket, temperature-wise, I think you mentioned?
I smoke it at 200 degrees.
200 degrees, okay?
So it's a little cooler smoke to it.
If we're gonna smoke pork, he does pork also.
I do my pork ribs at about 235 for about 5.5, 6 hours.
Okay, when I do a pork shoulder, about the same. You don't want too much heat. You don't want to cook it too fast. That's why they call it slow cooking, right? Okay. So wait, what else are you going to serve with that, Chef?
Well, we're going to do, I'm going to show you the brisket here. So this brisket here, obviously, you go from this to this. And every now and then when you buy your brisket, we buy it in bulk. Every now and then the little one tries to sneak in there, and one snuck in on me. What we're going to do next is I'm going to show you how we do our brisket sliders. Our brisket sliders, if you've never been to Pickles, you got to go. We actually do a Kobe beef slider, and on occasion for specials, we do this one. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you how to clean this brisket. So you got all your fat cap on the top, okay? Just come over here, try and get some of this fat off. I like to leave a little bit of fat on it because I like fatty meats, if you will. Especially brisket. I don't like it too dry. Let's get some of this fat off. So here's that cap I was telling you about. It's pretty tricky, but once you get your first angle in there, it's really easy to come out. Everybody see that? Okay. And there you go. There's the bottom part of it.
Can you see that?
All right.
So now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop it up a little bit because I want to get a little bit of brisket on these sliders for you. These sliders, we do at the restaurant, we do a pickled tobacco onion ring. Does anybody know what a tobacco onion ring is? Anybody ever seen one of those? Well, you're going to see that today. They call it a tobacco, it's a Southwest theme. They call it a tobacco onion because if you've ever seen fresh tobacco leaves, when they're sliced or when they're cut, when you slice the onion rings, they look exactly like a tobacco leaf. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to slowly build this. Roughly about 2 to 3 ounces of beef in each slider. We do these with brisket, we do it with pork, we do it with the Kobe, little Kobe 2.7 ounce patty. Okay. And these are the tobacco onion rings. I don't know if you can everybody see those down there? These are very, very good, by the way. We let them sit in a pickled vinegar for 24 hours. There we go.
And how do you make those?
I'm going to show you here in 1 second. I probably should have showed you that first, Peter, right? I'll tell you what. The sauce that we use for the brisket, we have two different sauces that Chef Peter makes for us. We have our sweet heat, and then we have what we call our Ice House barbecue sauce. For the brisket, we like to use a sweet heat. This is the sweet heat right here. You just kind of pour it on top just like that. Okay. And then we use little bamboo skewers, just kind of stick that bad boy in there just like that. And I'm telling you what, these are to die for. And there you have your little brisket sliders.
What do you think?
How's that look?
So, do we have 3 brave people out there? There's 1, 2. Yes, come up. Oh, the vote 2 lady.
Where's she at?
Right?
Yeah, she sure did.
She bought some vote 2. There you go.
I'll go.
We're going to have
Come
you
on up, folks.
walk up here on the stage. Can we do that, Scott, and have
Sure.
them each have a slider? Let me grab a couple plates.
What I'm putting on top of the sliders, what we do for garnish sometimes, this is our chipotle,
Your brisket?
our chipotle mango pickle.
Pork.
And the
Yeah,
chipotle
in a
sauce, I
minute.
get it from Chef Peter as well.
Here you go. So while you guys are tasting that, I just want to show you
All right.
something real quick because we got to get this pulled. Here is what the pulled pork looks like after it's cooked. This is cooked about 10 hours, okay? So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to take a piece, take
Thank you,
this
sir.
out of here, like this. Doesn't that look good? It's still pink inside, but that doesn't mean it wasn't cooked, okay? Good cuts of meat will stay pink, even chicken, okay? So we're gonna take this out here. Now we've got all this juice in here, okay? What do we do with that juice? Well, I've got my handy dandy Pyrex out of my laboratory gravy separator, okay? This has fat in it from the pulled pork. If you don't want the fat in your sauce, just take out all your liquid, okay? The fat will rise to the top, and you can buy these in plastic, by the way, and then pour the liquid from the bottom back in here. Why is the good stuff on the bottom and the fat on top? Who knows? Oil is lighter than water. So oil always floats to the top. So all our goodies are on the bottom. We just pour it from the bottom, pour it back in there, and voila, we have our sauce. Now what we want to do is we want to pull the pork. I'm going to show you these. These are called bear claws. Great for easy pulling. You saw Chef Isaac chop. Well, we're going to do pulled, okay? We're going to pull this. Actually, Texas Rib Rangers has these. These are pink, and they're for a good cause. They're selling them, 12 bucks, right across from my booth. But they're fantastic to have at home, and we will also sell them in our restaurant. And they look just like bear claws.
Look like they could be used for a weapon of some sort.
Yeah. So what do we do with this? We just pull it apart like this. And once it's pulled apart, we put it back in the sauce. Remember, you've got all that great sweet onion peach salsa. If you want more of a tomatilla taste, a little hotter, you can use tomatilla salsa if you want. like this. And you can see how easy it pulls apart. Any fat, just move it to the side. And I'm going to finish pulling this. And Chef is going to talk to you about his onion rings and how they make those. And also something with some, this is ZestFest with the pepper sauce. Okay, Chef, it's all yours.
So let's start off with the onion rings real quick. So what we do is we make a pickled brine at the restaurant. And like I said earlier, we slice our tobacco onions. You can see they're really, really thin. The thinner the better. Every now and then a big one tries to get in the way. We don't want to use that one. So we let them sit for about 24 hours and smell really nice and pickly. Now the trick to the tobacco onion rings is you want to try to keep them as separate as possible. And this is our flour mixture that we use here. The flour mixture, this is like a Southwest type. There's flour in here. You're going to have some cumin, pepper, cayenne pepper, paprika. And actually, I threw in a little bit of your spice rub in here, too.
While he's doing that real quick, I want you to see what this looks like. Looks fantastic. Cook it another 2 hours. Cuban pulled pork. Add barbecue sauce to it. You got barbecue pulled pork.
So if you can see here, I'm kind of mixing this up really well. Again, it's very, very important that you mix it up really well, because if you fry it and you don't mix it, you're going to get clumps. And basically, it's going to be very raw, and you're going to have a big bite of raw flour, and that's not really a good tasting flavor. I know I've done that years ago, of course. Okay. So I don't have a fryer up here to show you, but the sliders that we showed you earlier, that's what they look like. So that's basically it. Very, very simple, very, very flavorful, and very, very nice presentation.
Hey, Chef,
And,
you
yes,
know,
sir.
I was thinking, those are, by the way, really great. But I saw some brisket. Let me show you something about leftover brisket. We always have leftover brisket, right? Chef, do you mind making a couple slices?
I sure don't.
So I've got a grill up here. People don't know what to do with leftover brisket.
Ask
What
a
you
chef,
can
he'll tell
do,
you.
Huh?
Ask a chef, he'll tell you right away.
Yeah, ask a chef. So you can make grilled brisket burritos or tortillas. And I just happen to have some tortillas here. And by the way, you can do the same thing with the pulled pork. Let me put a little bit of spray on here real quick. Like that. Smoke the place up. I'm going to toss a couple of these on here real quick. Get them hot. And I think I got another platter around. Let me grab one of these. And you don't want to heat your tortillas up too much. You don't want them, you can see the grill marks on it.
There you go, chef.
Thank you, Chef. Okay, so these are heated up. Take them off. You can put one on each corner of a platter. Now take your brisket and just grill it real quick. Just enough to get hot, like that.
That smells good already.
Do we have smell-o-vision here? You can see how nice and grilled it is with the marks. It's going to fall apart. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to take a little bit of this, put it in a tortilla. Do you do this at your restaurant?
I was just going to say, it's funny you're doing that. We're actually starting a Taco Tuesday that we're going to be doing mini tacos out of our brisket. That starts this coming Tuesday. So if you're in the Watauga area, please stop by. Enjoy some brisket tacos.
That sounds great.
He might have even taken this from me.
He wishes.
Or I stole it from him, one or the other.
So now we have that. And what do we put on this stuff? We want to put a little cheese on it. The brisket will melt it a little bit. I didn't chop any onions because I didn't think about it. However, we do have a little bit of cilantro. Love to smoke. When I do this in my house, my wife really gives me a hard time. Oh, you're smoking up the house again. Price you pay living with a chef. She does reap the benefits, though. I was hoping my grandson was going to be here today, but he's sick. He loves cooking, and I was going to have him up here with me. Put a little cilantro on it. Now we're going to roll it like that. We'll roll this one in this direction. Put it in here. Make a little tea out of it. And we have award-winning salsa, Tres Chilies. It actually won second place overall, all salsas, at the International Food Show in Albuquerque. This is the one we used yesterday that Chef Sebastian uses.
I use that same product in my restaurant as well.
Yeah, they use it
And
too.
It's
very
a
fresh
fantastic product.
tasting. And actually, you know what? I want to serve this, some of this to you. So let me cut it up real quick first, like that. And we'll pour a little salsa over it. Chef, could you go get me some boats
I sure will.
downstairs?
3 boats.
So I'm going to need some more brave souls.
There
Now
you go, sir.
we're going to take this, pour a little bit salsa over it. I think we got some spoons up here. Okay, there we go. That's what you can do with grill. Okay, lady in the blue, she's very enthusiastic. Who
She
else
jumped
do we
up
have?
quick.
We'll grab a couple spoons, Chef.
I think we got him over here.
We ought to have Scott. Scott works real hard.
There you go.
Let me go get a couple more boats. Huh?
There you go. You're welcome.
We're going fast. Oh. Come up here. Hey, Chef,
What you need?
you need to try one of these.
I think I will.
There you go. So we got 3 more. Where's my vote? Okay, this gentleman right here.
I already got one here.
There's one.
That is fantastic.
Thank you.
I like that smoky flavor with the little
He
heat
looks
of the
like a
salsa.
hunter. Sir, do you hunt? You can do this with game meat. Come on up. You know, Emerald Lagasse says we do real cooking. We do too. So, okay, so that's how we do that. Now, the thing I haven't done yet, though, is show you how to do the sliders. And we'll probably need 3 more boats. We're going to give these to you. Here's that beautiful pulled pork that we talked about. And it's going to, again, real simple. Just like what Chef Isaac did. We're going to put a little bit on a slider bun. He used pretzel. I'm using an everything bun that you can buy at Costco, real cheap. Do a lot with. And then what we're going to top it off with are some candied jalapenos. This is the People's Choice Award right here from all the people. Put a little bit of that on there. It's going to give you a little bit of crunch, a little bit of acidity, sweet, sour, all those beautiful flavors that you look for. And there we have our pork sliders. Okay?
Awesome.
But wait, there's more. No, I'm just kidding. So we got 3 more here, Scott. And we don't need spoons for this. I saw the boy in the little, with the long hair there. You want to try a slider? You had your hand up earlier. No, okay.
He changed his mind.
You know, this summer I'm going to do a cooking class for kids. It's going to be a summer camp. I'm going to do it out of my kitchen in my storefront. It's going to be a 6 weeks class, starting with knife skills and safety. You need to come to that.
Right over here to the right.
You like to cook?
Oh, there you go.
Perfect, perfect.
Sorry.
So, Chef.
All right.
Why don't you recap a little bit? Oh, did you? Oh, you did your.
Yeah, let me talk about
stuff.
the.
Why don't you recap a little bit?
Let's talk about the pickle here. So at Pickles, we're owned by a lady by the name of Dana Berlin. She's with Berlin Entertainment. The whole idea of pickles, I guess, when she was a little child, you know, she incorporated barbecue with pickles. She loves pickles. Her father pickled a lot of things, so that's kind of what she grew up with. So we do 6 different kinds of flavored pickles. My personal favorite is obviously the one that I brought because it is my favorite. It's the chipotle mango pickle that we do. And then here in a minute, we're gonna pass out some ribs, and the pickle actually be on that little plate so you guys can try. This one is, I use mango, and I also use Chef Peter's product. It's a chipotle hot sauce. It's a very, very, very good product. So we do a watermelon, we do a sour apple, a grape, and a wild berry fusion. All great. You got to come out to the restaurant and try it. They're all really, really good products. But you can see here, again, and here in a second, you'll be able to try the pickles. And over here to the right, we have literature of the restaurant. We have buy one, get one free. Please stop by, grab one, stop by the restaurant, try out some specialty pickles from us.
The pickles are fantastic. All the different flavors. I know my wife and I, we like to go there. Of course, they're our customer too. But we like to go there. We'll get their whole tray of pickles, the mango, particularly the chipotle. And we sell the smoking chipotle. Not only can you use it in the pickles, but it makes an outstanding ranch dressing. You can put it in ranch dressing, sour cream, do a lot of different things. We actually use it in buffalo wings
as well.
Yeah, buffalo wings on that. So, any questions about what we did? Really simple. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Let me come over there with the mic. Yes, ma'am.
What type of onion did you use for the onion rings?
What type of onion?
What type
I use
of
a
onion?
yellow sweet onion.
The key to those onions is slicing them real thin and then letting them marinate, right?
We let them marinate. Like I said, the longer you marinate them, the better, but we go for 24 hours. And of course, really, really thin. It's very important that you get them thin.
Any other questions?
Any more? Yes, ma'am.
For those of us who don't own a smoker, how can we adjust your recipes and just do them in the regular oven?
Excellent question. You can do a couple things, actually. One, there's nothing wrong. Well, first of all, let me say, if you have a grill, okay, I don't know if anyone saw John Bonnell up here earlier, but if you have a grill, you can get some wood and put it to the side and light it and get smoke in your grill, okay? That's number one. Number two, I like to use smoky type products. For instance, the dry rub is not smoke, but our sweet heat has hickory, natural hickory flavor in it. So you can get that smoky flavor there. A lot of times, people put sauces on their brisket anyway. So if you have a good barbecue sauce that has some smoky flavor and you do chopped and put a little bit in, most people won't know the difference.
Good question. Anybody else? Anyone have any questions? Are you just ready to eat? Oh yeah, we still got more. Plenty more backstage. All right, anybody else? Chef, I think that's it. They're just hungry.
All right.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Chef Isaac Walker, Chef Peter Mollett, thank you
you.
so much. We'll have some sampling over here at the sampling station. Just hold tight. They're on their way out right now.